We're talking about detoxification. We're talking about lymphatic detoxification. Basically, you have a sewer system in the body. It needs to be cleaned. And if it backs up, you're going to have acids take over your body and cause a lot of problems. So that's basically it. We're just trying to clean out the body. The lymph system surrounds every single cell in the body. So that's why it's so important to clean this. And most of our lymph systems are in terrible shape because we've gotten away from natural food and a natural lifestyle. And basically, the kidneys are the doorway out for this toxic waste. And if the kidneys are inflamed, which most of us are or have inflamed kidneys, then you're going to have trouble filtering this sewer system. So this is basically it in a nutshell. I'm not a doctor, but I'm telling you how to restore your health by getting back to nature. And so this is really the solutions for so many of our problems. And sad news today. Glenn Frey passed away, and I was reading on one of the sites. They say he passed away from a combination of things: pneumonia, rheumatoid arthritis, and I think it was ulcerative colitis. And I looked at that and I said to myself, these are all related together. These are all names for acidosis in certain areas. The rheumatoid arthritis basically is acidosis all throughout the body. It's just systemic acidosis. I had a form of it with fibromyalgia, and once I figured out it was an acidic condition, and then I needed to detoxify the lymphatic system, get the acids out of the body, things began to change for me. Now, so the RA, rheumatoid arthritis, I believe is just systemic acidosis. Then you have the colitis, which is an acidosis specifically, in the walls of the intestines. We can do these colon cleanses and keep our colon really healthy as far as the solid waste, keep that moving through there. But in the walls of the intestines, this is where you can get the damage. If the lymph system gets backed up in the walls of the intestines, then the acids take over and can start destroying the walls of the colon. So this, I believe, was the issue there. And then let's take the third one, pneumonia. Well, pneumonia is basically fluids backing up in the lungs. We know that. And this is lymphatic as well. You get acidosis in the lungs. The body comes in and it tries to neutralize those acids. It's going to use fluids, water. It's going to use fats, lipids, and cholesterol. It's going to try to use antacids that are made from steroids in the adrenals. But if the adrenals are weak, we're not going to have enough power to overcome that. So, this can cause that problem. So these are all interrelated. And rest in peace, Glenn. What a talented guy. And it just goes to show you, along with David Bowie as well, you can be rich. You can have all the money in the world. It's not going to save you. It really isn't. The doctors are not going to save you from this. Once the systemic acidosis takes over, which I believe is what cancer is as well, the only solution is to detoxify the body, right down to the cellular level. And that is really the only solution. So, these things just keep multiplying. And I help a lot of people, and I very rarely see someone that just has one problem. When the lymph system backs up, it turns into multiple problems. So, when you see symptoms of one thing, you can be sure there's other things. So let's check and see. I want to just make sure I have a good, healthy feed here. You guys let me know if the stream drops for any reason. I think we're good. I got a green here, so it looks like we're good and live. Sometimes I just get blabbing and I don't check and make sure everything's going. So I'll just look at your comments column to make sure that the stream is healthy. But we have our first question from Barbara McNerlin. Hi, Barbara. How are you? She wants to know the combination of ingredients that I use in my smoothies. A few examples. Well, I just love my oranges from Leroyce. I talk about the beautiful Leroyce Hicks. I think she's 87 years old. She's from Santa Paula. She grows the most wonderful oranges. So I have a juicer, and I juice those oranges. That's the base of my drink. And then I'll usually take a little bit of banana. I just like the creaminess of it. It kind of makes me fill up a little bit. If I'm detoxing, I'll skip the banana. because that does slow things down a bit. And then I'll add berries. I'll add organic strawberries. I recommend organic, you guys, for the berries. Berries have a very thin skin. They're very porous, and they'll soak up a lot of toxins, especially strawberries. I mean, I live right near Oxnard, the just strawberry capital of probably, America at least. I mean, there's so many strawberries out here, but I see them spraying all the time. So yeah, organic. I prefer, if I can't get fresh organic, I prefer to buy frozen organic rather than buy the regular strawberries and veggie wash them, because I just think I'm not going to get all those pesticides out of there. There's just so many that they spray on there, and they're so porous. So frozen or fresh strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. The berries are the key. They're so rich. They're so full of flavonoids and antioxidants. And there's this big issue like we were talking about with Brian True last week about the hybridization of fruit. And I believe the berries are less hybrided out than some of the others. So and plus they're so powerful that even if they're a weaker variety, you're still going to get the power of the berries. And by the way, the endocrine glands love the berries. The adrenals, the pancreas, the parathyroid, the thyroid, pituitary, they just love the berries, and just super powerful. So that's basically it. I got a fresh pineapple, and I've been adding that, chopping some of that up and putting it in there. Make sure your pineapple is sweet, by the way. And whatever fresh fruits I can get, and it's just an all fruit smoothie with maybe a little banana, and that's really it. Just keep it simple, but get the best fruits you can. The rule with berries, Barbara, eat them alone or leave them alone. So I'm sorry, with the melons, excuse me. With the melons, eat them by themselves. I don't quite know the reason for that, but it's an old wives' tale, and I've heard people, say that. Dr. Morse says it. So yeah, don't mix the melons in with that. And as I was saying to Brian, sometimes I will take a little, half a teaspoon, just small amount of Vitamineral Green. It's a green superfood powder with just all kinds of wonderful things, just to make sure I'm getting all the minerals and everything. It just has so many wonderful things. I suggest you guys check it out. So I'll do that every once in a while just to make sure I'm getting that. You don't really need that many minerals, but it's a good idea to just make sure you're getting it if you're questioning your sources on your fruit. And that's basically it. Keep it simple. A lot of people even go purer than I do. I mean, they'll just have all orange juice, or eat 10 bananas, or just go all blueberries in their smoothie with a little bit of water. So there's different ways to do it, but you can't go wrong if you're doing good quality fruit. And just try, even when I'm not detoxing, try to stay pure fruit till noon. Your body is in a cleansing mode. It's when I need my most energy. It's when I'm the most active. So yeah, just fruit till noon is just such a great thing. And no matter how we're feeling, even if I feel a little cold and all that, I can usually get it till noon. And even if I'm craving something a little more heavy, but I can usually always get it till noon. And if I'm cold, I'll just have some herbal tea or something. But so that's it. I hope that answers your question. So we got a great stream. Okay, that's great to know. Thank you, Bryn. Could you touch on overcoming some really harsh food addictions? Yeah. Food addictions they can sometimes be nasty little critters inside of you craving things, fermented things. Make sure that you've done you've dewormed yourself and done a parasite cleanse, because a lot of times these funguses, candidas and things like that, will crave starches and crave cheeses, fermented things, your sauerkrauts and all that kind of stuff. You'd be surprised. And worms inside of you will crave meats. So that's one way to counter this. Just make sure you've done this. And the thing with food addictions too, I know with me, I think we all have food addictions to some degree. I mean, I mention all the time that I don't eat meat, but I'll drive, I'll drive by the Habit Burger, and the smell coming off there is fantastic. Even the smell coming off of Kentucky Fried Chicken is amazing. Um, Meat is very, very powerful over us. When it's cooked, it has just an amazing aroma, and so the best way to counter this is to have a full stomach, is to not be hungry. Never go hungry. I mean, you can't overeat on fruit. It's almost impossible. So always make sure you have fruit handy in case you get, a little bit of a blood sugar drop or you get a little hungry. Just have some fruit always handy, even some raisins, things like that. So that's one of the great ways is to always be satiated. They say never go shopping on a full stomach. I mean, on an empty stomach. You want to go on a full stomach. That way you're not tempted to throw those cheese doodles in the bag, or those you know pink snowball Twinkie things or whatever. Not that I would do that, but I used to. But yeah, if you're full, you're less likely to succumb to your cravings. And just education, I know for me, once I understood, really the game here, as far as what to eat and how to eat, a lot of people just don't know. I used to be one of those people. I would just eat whatever tasted good. I figured food was food. The body will figure it out. It'll know, grab what carbohydrates it needs and all that. And if I start to put on some weight, I'll just back off and I'm fine. I used to wash things down with Coca-Cola all the time. So I think a lot of it's education. Once you feel the power, get on a nice fast of a high fruit diet, 100% fruit fast. Feel the power of that fruit, feel the cleansing, feel the energy, feel the mental clarity and the vitality. And then, when you cheat and eat these other things, you get your butt handed to you. So this is a great way too, is just experiencing it, experiencing the takedown when you do, go for your foods that aren't as, when you're not eating the superior foods. So these are all lessons. This is not easy. We've been indoctrinated into a consumer society that basically is operating off your habitual use of their food. So we've been conditioned. We're conditioned all around. It's a matrix. I mean, the billboards are everywhere. So yeah, it's hard to overcome. A lot of it's unconscious too. And I've even found myself, I'll be preparing some food and for other people, and I'll be chopping up some meat, and my hand will start to move towards my mouth. So, it goes deep, it runs deep. But yeah, stay full, stay educated, and know the truth about what the right foods are, and have the experiential knowledge of experiencing the energy of good food. So I hope that helps you. Okay. I don't understand why, since I started a juice fast, I am hardly filtering. Have you ever heard of this? Yeah, I have heard of this. I mean, filtration can be very tricky, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't know the reason for this. You would think that, you get on the herbs, you get on a high fruit, and you get on the kidney herbs and the lymphatic herbs, and you start to really really get on a high fruit diet and get rid of the acid forming inflammatory foods. You'd think that the kidneys would the inflammation would go down and you'd start filtering, but not always the case. And I don't know the reason for that. I know that with clients, what I'll do is I'll start out and I'll say, okay, we're going to put you on 2 kidney formulas. Okay, you're going to do a tincture and capsules. All right, and you're going to go high fruit, and we're going to see if you can get filtration with that. If that doesn't work, we don't do lymphatics right away unless you got some filtration, because when you do those lymphatic herbs, they'll get the lymph moving, but then they're pushing up against those inflamed kidneys, and you're just recircling toxins back into the body. They're not coming out, so you don't want that. So we don't want to overstimulate the lymph system. We might do a little bit of stimulation, but not much. Okay, so this is important. It actually can cause urinary tract problems and all kinds of things. So that's number one. If you're still not getting filtration, then we can go to more astringent fruits. You can go on a high, these lemonade diets. And I think I have a recipe up on my website where you're basically taking fresh lemons and distilled water or highly filtered water and a little bit of cayenne pepper. And you can sweeten it with a little bit of natural sweetener. I like stevia because it's non-glycemic. You can use a little bit of agave, things like that. So that the power of those lemons can really, really help, get you filtration. I have a video on this, by the way. I'll give you some tips. Beetroots, those are very, very powerful. You got to mix them with other juices, though, because they are super powerful. And they can actually cause kidney pain. They're so powerful. And then if you're still not getting filtration, you can move up to the glandulars. These are actually, they'll take the kidneys of a cow or a pig, and they'll grind them up and have a pure glandular. In the case of the kidneys and organs. So you can take that as well, and also an adrenal glandular too, and you can take that to try and kick the kidneys in. And one thing that I learned after I completed that video is that that's not the final step. If you're still not getting filtration, and chances are you'll have filtration by now. It might be a few months down the line, but the next step, the final step in this is going to be going on some fasts, some micro fasts. In other words, you can try not eating at 6 o'clock and then not eating again for another 12 hours, till 6, 7, 8 in the morning. Just a micro fast, and then try to go into a 1, 2, 3 day fast. You can try that with the lemonade first, and then if that doesn't work, just do it with a water fast. But be careful with that. Study up on fasting, and so that's the final step is fasting to get kidney filtration. But some people it's taken them months and months and months to get it. But it really the real healing does not begin until you get that filtration. So it really is necessary to make sure you get that and follow the steps. But get a hold of me if you're having trouble. Watch the video, and then re-listen to this part of the broadcast and try to get the filtration going. Okay, I hope that helps you. Let's see. Okay, so we got some questions backing up, I believe here. Barbara, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Let's see. Bryn, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Sure. Okay. Okay, so I heard to eat melons alone or leave them alone because the water content in the melons is so much higher, making them digest faster than other fruits. Do you know if that's right or not? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the issue. It could be an enzymatic issue. Sometimes there's different foods trigger different enzymes. I know with the mixing starches and proteins, there are different enzymes in the stomach that do the work, and they cancel each other out. So then you have putrefying food in the stomach. But that could be a reason. But this wives' tale has stuck, and I've heard multiple people, in the natural health field say the same thing. So I'm just going to go with that, But that could be a reason. Sure, they might digest super quick, and don't know though. Okay, Roffer Steve, how you doing, Steve? When I take the GI broom and follow it with water at bedtime, I tend to pee all night, which is frustrating. When is a good time during the day to take the GI broom? Before food, after a meal? I think the recommendation on the GI broom is at least 2 hours after a meal, or before, a couple hours before, because I think the idea is that, let's say you eat some food and it's in your GI tract and it's processing, it's digesting, then it's going to block those things, herbs in the clay in the GI broom, from doing its work and going onto and into the bowel walls. It's interesting that you brought this up, Steve, because Richard Crozier runs a site up on Facebook, and we were kind of going back and forth on mucoid plaque. I posted something on my website, and it was a woman that got a big. It's really gross. I warned everybody to, before they watched it, but it is necessary to watch, and it's the top video on my website right now. But mucoid plaque came out of her. It was a long, stringy, black, ropey thing, and it just disgusting. And she said it just smelled disgusting. And she had used Dr. Anderson's colon cleanse, and the GI broom will do this also. And basically, mucoid plaque coats the bowel wall. Now, here's the controversy. Some people say that by taking the clays, the bentonite clay that's in the GI broom and in Dr. Anderson's alive, I think it's alive and something, his formula, that is what actually coats the bowel wall. And so that mucoid plaque is not a real thing. Well, both Dr. Jensen and Dr. Morse are big into mucoid plaque. They say it's real. Dr. Anderson says it's real. A lot of people have had great success, including myself, with the GI broom. Love it. I haven't gotten the big mucoid plaque out yet. But I haven't ever done the full doses of the GI broom. I do smaller doses, but yeah, I might do it just to experiment as well. But anyways, the idea that they're saying, that the criticism they're saying is that, well, when you put that clay in, it's going to form its own layer and fool you that that was actually in your bowels for a long time. Well, I'm going to lean towards Dr. Morse and Dr. Jensen, but even if that's true, then even if that stuck to the bowel walls and pulled out all those toxins and that smelly stuff and it turned black, then it's doing you good anyways. Look, we can go back and forth on what's true, what isn't true. We can call everybody a quack, a liar, all these things. It's so easy to do on things that we can't prove. And we can't really prove that much, to be honest with you. I mean, people fight all day long about if we went to the moon or not. And there's arguments on both sides. I believe we went, but you hear some of these arguments about the Van Alden belt and the radiation belt they can't get through, and they haven't been back in 40 years and all these things. The point is, you can argue a lot of things, but the GI broom and getting this black stuff, smelly stuff out of you is really great. And I know when I do the GI broom, it really, really cleanses me, and I really feel good afterwards. So that's the bottom line. But as far as peeing all night, that's interesting. Sometimes I have to think about these things. Okay, so peeing all night, it could be a couple things. I mean, if there's any kind of inflammation around the bladder, it's going to push on the bladder, right? Of course, the prostate, we all know that in guys, when the prostate's inflamed, that it pushes on the bladder and makes the bladder smaller, so you have to pee more. We also know that peeing is a way of getting rid of water, fluids. So is the GI broom, the astringent properties of it, pulling more water out of the bowels, which is making its way to the kidneys and to the bladder? I don't know. That's a good question. I know I'd have to look at the herbs that are inside of the GI broom, which I haven't done, but there are herbs that are diuretic. We know that the juniper berries are very diuretic, and the dandelion, and there's a lot of diuretic herbs that Dr. Morse uses. I know that I have to. When I do rounds, especially of the kidney herbs, I know that I'm gonna be peeing a lot. So yeah, I'd have to take a look in the. You can do it yourself, Steve. Just kind of look at the bag and see what herbs are in there, and then just Google them and seeing if they're diuretic herbs. That's probably the most likely answer to that, I would think. But yeah, take it when I think fruit digests in only about an hour. So I know you're high fruit, so you could probably get away an hour before, hour after a meal with the GI broom if you don't want to pee all night. So, anyways, I hope that helps. Yeah, it's kind of a hassle to keep getting up and down. I know that. Um, uh, but yeah, it's interesting. We've come up on a lot of things where people are questioning, uh, you know, uh, different elements. As far as as far as is mucoid plaque real or not. People even question whether it is a liver detox real. There's people that say, well, those stones, those supposed stones that come out of the liver, are really, from the olive oil and lemon juice that you put into your body, and that's just the byproduct of that. And those were not really in you. Um, the bottom line is a liver cleanse, gallbladder cleanse, is fantastic for you. And if you've ever done one, you feel it. You feel like this inflammation come out of you, and this stiffness come out of you, and this sort of feeling of undigested things. And when you eat avocados and your fats, you feel like you process them much better. So that's the bottom line, really. We can pick apart anything, and we can go off onto these little micro tangents and lose our ability to heal ourselves and to heal others. That's the bottom line. We always have to get back to that. The reason why I'm here, is to help you guys heal naturally, because I found my remedy and I'm giving back, and I'm now a conduit of your information, your feedback, processed through me having gone through it. So I'm just here to help you do that. I always want to stay focused on my mission, which is to help you guys heal. Okay, the best way that I know how, and that's getting back to nature and the laws of nature. Um, so we got another question from DMH60. I have found I get much better results with the GI broom while doing juice fast. I release a long string of plaque after only 5 days on juice and the broom. If it wasn't old, it wouldn't smell so bad. So I take it that you're getting multiple rounds of this mucoid plaque. Is that right, DMH60? Let us know that, because that would tell me that maybe there's layers of this stuff. So that you would need to do this juice fasting and GI broom. And a lot of people do report this, that the juice fasting along with the GI broom really does do the trick in as little as 5 days. And I've heard this before. So is it layers of mucoid plaque that we're working on, so that we are going to do these rounds of GI broom and juice fasting until we get all the plaque out of us? Or let's say you do this and you get a 3 or 4 rounds of mucoid plaque out of you, and then it starts getting lighter and lighter and lighter, which I've heard some people say. That would tell me that the mucoid plaque is really the bentonite clay, but you've pulled out a lot of the toxins off the bowel wall. And it really doesn't matter if that's the case, or if you really have that stuck and you got it out. You're achieving the same end. You're cleaning the bowel walls. It's deep cleaning. It's pulling, sucking the toxins and the acids out of that bowel wall. And this is why we get the breakdown of the bowel wall, because they become so acidic and so backed up lymphatically that we need to pull this stuff out of there in order to heal. And if Glenn Frey would have come to me, this is exactly, we with everybody, we do the same thing. We get them on a 4-way detox. We get them high fruit, get the kidneys filtering. So we go after the kidneys, number one. We go after the lymph system. We get that moving. We go after the GI tract. Always clean the GI tract. It's the trunk of the tree. Everything drains into it. It's the center of the body. So always working on the GI tract, and always working on the glands. The glands produce all the hormones which run the body. So, it's all the same. And so yeah, the whole body can back up at the same time and have multiple issues like Glenn. And so anyway, so Yeah, okay, so yeah, DMH60 reported back. Yes, Mark, but there's 22 feet of small colon and 5 feet of large colon, so it could take a while. So that would say that maybe we're breaking off pieces. Maybe the fact that you do get these 5 foot long pieces at a time, maybe it is mucoid plaque that's breaking off, and you're getting it, getting pieces of it. It's all interesting, it really is. And I don't know if mucoid plaque forms all through the lower intestine and the upper intestine. Um, I don't know. It is amazing though that this stuff comes out of you, and that it is so toxic and so black. So yeah, just yeah, let me know. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have experiential knowledge on this, so that's the best way I can help you guys is to go through this kind of stuff and report back. But it's great you guys are doing this too, and reporting back to me, and giving us information. Kidney filtration and this is really interesting to me, and we do need to keep up on this and build sort of a running report on this, because yeah, kidney filtration, number one thing, and certainly colon health is huge too. I don't understand what the difference is between endocrine balance and the gland tonic. My understanding with that is that the endocrine balance will help, we have a system of glands, and a lot of people say they're like the chakras of the body. They're the energy centers of the body, and the endocrine balance is going to help bring those all together. Um, the pituitary gland is up in the head, and that controls all the other glands. So your endocrine balance is going to have herbs that really get into the pituitary and help that come alive, so it can help the other balance of the glands too. Um, I think it's probably synergistically made, so it will go stronger after certain glands in order to balance them. Um, the gland tonic is probably just going to strengthen them more than balance them. Uh, so yeah, I would have to really take a look at the herbs in there to give you more of a better understanding on that. But I always recommend the endocrine balance. That's always part of my formula kits. Um, but then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and punch that in with adrenals. Usually people's adrenals are really weak, so I want to punch those up with another formula, just to make sure those get up. You want to get those adrenals with that top systolic blood pressure number between 120 and 130, and so with the endocrine balance, I usually need to supplement that with some sort of licorice root or the adrenal tonics. But I want to tell you guys, I want to report something to you. I'm glad you brought this up, because I've been working with an herb that has really helped my adrenal glands. And I'm really happy to report that it's a Chinese herb called Romania, and it looks like a black cake, really thick black pancake. And you break it up, and you boil it, and it makes a thick black tea. And you drink this, and I've been taking some numbers, with my blood pressure meter, and I'll go from, I don't know, 110 on the systolic up to 120, 125 after drinking this. So, and in the Chinese tonic herbal system, it is really highly regarded as a major, kidney replenisher. But it really helps the adrenals too. The adrenals sit on top of the kidney. So this is a great thing here. And I get it at Chinatown. And I drive down to Chinatown every once in a while. I do some Chinese herbs too. So I'll go down there and pick that up. I'll look more into where we can get it up here, but it's fabulous, really great. And So anybody having low adrenal issues might want to look into that. Okay, most nights after taking GI Broom, I have a lot of rumbling that I can feel in the colon. Yeah, that's pulling the toxins out. That's the astringents going in there. That's the clays pulling everything out. Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, they're very powerful. You got Cascara sagrada in there also, which is it's not really a laxative, but it stimulates the bowels. It stimulates the peristaltic action in the bowels. So it is super powerful. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I haven't really done the full dose. I mean, it really, man, yeah. I mean, if you're really doing the full dose, make sure you're always near a bathroom. Um, yeah, my bowels have been in pretty good shape. But I'm going to kick it up to get the mucoid plaque going. Um, uh, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, you gotta have a clear schedule. So, my dad just got info saying he has a high PSA and prostate cancer. What should I tell him to focus on diet wise? Chris Alexander. Hi, Chris. Um, yeah, prostate cancer is. I don't even like to use the word cancer. I guess I'm not even supposed to use the word cancer. Let's just call it interstitial lymphatic constipation in the prostate. Okay. And just to repeat myself, which I like doing because it's just great to ingrain this information. The cells, you have 100 trillion cells, they're all surrounded by lymphatic fluid, and that's called interstitial fluid. And if that becomes stagnant, it turns acidic and it starts burning. Okay, and when you start burning cells, they mutate, they get damaged and they mutate, and then they can replicate as mutations, and then you get what they call the C word. So, but prostate cancer, prostate. This issue is very slow moving, but if I had this high PSA count, I would get on high fruit. I would get the kidneys filtering. I would move lymph. I would go on a heavy detoxification. Um, the good news is the things that are closest to the kidneys detoxify first, and that it is a slow growing thing. So yeah, getting the inflammation out of this gland is super super important. And the fact that he has this is a sign that he's acidic, and this is in other parts of the body as well. And if he filled out a health questionnaire and I looked at his eyes, I would probably see multiple issues. So it's good to have these signs come up and know that you have to deal with this stuff. And an interesting thing is that the adrenal glands they sit on top of the kidneys. Of course, they control the kidneys, but they also make steroids. You're given steroids, to combat inflammations, right? Arthritis and things like this. But your body makes its own steroids. If those adrenals are healthy, if check his blood pressures. If he's at that top number is 120 to 130, and the bottom number is between 60 and 70. Sometimes you can have a high bottom number like 90 and be 130, but still be weak, because when you get that lower number down, the top number comes down too. So make sure the kidneys and adrenals through the blood pressures are you got good numbers there, but make sure those adrenals are strong so you can make your own antacid steroids. They're anti-inflammatory, and therefore the inflammation will start coming out of the body, and it'll start draining out through the lymphatic system to the kidneys. So this is what I would do: high fruit diet, detoxification protocols, and an anti-inflammatory diet for the rest of his life. Learn what's inflammatory in the body. Get off of the meats, get off of the dairy, get off of the grains. If you're going to have small cheats, go for it, but make sure that all this stuff is out of the body before you start cheating. Get serious on this and get it out. And yeah, that's what I would recommend. And God bless your father. And it sometimes, I don't know how old your dad is, but sometimes the older people, it's hard to get them to change. They're so ingrained in their ways. It's hard to get them to do a proper detox and go on a high fruit diet. But that's what I would do. And uh, luckily this one is slow moving. So I hope that helps, and blessings to your dad. Okay, so Deem age 60. So would it be okay to switch back and forth from endocrine balance and gland tonic? Yeah, it would be fine. Let me know what you're going through, and sometimes you need to punch up certain glands. Those gland tonics are good just to kind of get everything online and get it, move everything up. But usually we have the adrenal issues. We have the oh, say hi, Bitsy. This is Bitsy. She was just taking a nap. So we have the adrenal issues. That's pretty much everybody has these adrenal issues. A lot of people that I look at have got inflammation in the brain, so it's pituitary issues. You have the transverse colon, okay, and that's when you look in the eyes. That's just right at the top of the iris, okay, on top of the pupil, and right there, and that starts. You see these they're called radius solari, and they start like sun rays coming up into the head, and the transverse colon is tied to the brain. So a lot of people with a dirty colon, it gets up into the brain area. There's a big connection there, and so punching up the pituitary, getting that cleared out is really essential. So yeah, just doing a lot of these overall endocrine things. They're fine in the beginning, but I think you really got to punch up the areas where you're weak. Okay, and I don't know if you know how to read eyes. It's a great thing to learn. There's charts on the internet you can get for free, and I have a video on how to do it. Just give you an overall view. And a detox specialist, a really good one, lives down in Australia. Shane Goulden has got some interesting videos on doing it as well. And just watching Dr. Morse's videos on him reading eyes can really help you. And of course, Bernard Jensen has his Iridology Simplified book. So these are great things for you guys to learn, and yeah, go after the specific glands, as well as an endocrine balance or overall gland tonic. But yeah, really getting those specific ones back up online is really important. GI Broom used to plug me up. Wow, you were in bad shape there, I think. So, because yeah, you might have been just really, needing some help there. The getting plugged up in the bowels can be a couple things. It can be a really poor diet. Dairy really plugs you up. The grains will plug you up. Red meat especially will plug you up. So it can be diet related. It also can be adrenal related. You have the adrenal glands. Of course, we talked about they make the steroids, but they also make neurotransmitters. And these neurotransmitters help you run your autonomic nervous system, which is the things you do when you're not thinking about it, like breathing and heart rate to a certain degree, and also the peristalsis of the GI tract. The way that the bowels can contract and eliminate. So, it's yeah, it could be multiple issues there. But the GI Broom does have some stimulants in there, like the Cascara sagrada, like I said. But yeah, it probably just showed that your GI tract was in poor shape, and as you cleaned it out, maybe as your adrenals come up, you'll get more bowel action, things like that. Thanks for the Romania tip. Yeah, you guys go get some and let me know what you think. I just buy the cakes at Chinatown, but I hear there's some extracts. Try to get some good quality organic extracts. Okay, so Chris Alexander, thanks for the info. He has cut down on a lot of the cooked foods now. Great, he's 62. Okay, great. Well, he's a young man. He's young, so he can turn this around for sure. I'll try to get him into more fruits. Great. He has also been drinking the Heal tea instead of coffee, so that's good. Yeah, this is all excellent stuff. Yeah, if you can get your dad to do a detox, and get yourself a blood pressure meter. They're $50 on Amazon.com, and keep an eye on those blood pressures. Yeah, between 120 and 130, and then between 60 and 70 on the lower number. and that's just a great way to gauge what's going on. But I'd love to have your dad fill out a health questionnaire and take a look at his eyes, if you guys want, and because chances are there's some other issues around the body, and but a good general detox is going to take care of anything that's coming up. Um, but yeah, this Glenn Fry thing was really a shocker to a lot of people. He didn't seem like he was old or anything. I mean, he was 67. I mean, just taken way too young. But it makes you think. I mean, like I talked about. I mean, you have all this money and everything going for you, yet you succumb to this, and he's battling three things at once: pneumonia, rheumatoid arthritis, and this colitis, and it's all the same thing though. But the medical community does not recognize this. So what they're going to do is they're going to go after the three separate things. They probably got him on for the rheumatoid arthritis. They probably got him on some heavy inflammatory steroids, which cause all kinds of problems, by the way. And I don't know if they were doing surgeries on him. Sometimes they'll actually remove pieces of the colon. This is very, very hard on the body. Um, when they open you up like that, these hospitals have a lot of things in them, like MRSA, and my dad had a surgery, and he's 87, and he got this C. diff. It's some kind of a bug that got in his in intestines, and he had diarrhea for months, and it was just so miserable. I mean, imagine a guy that age having to get up all the time and go through that and being dehydrated and miserable. And he just kept saying, I don't want to die like this. I don't want to die on the toilet. And they got it. They gave him some real powerful antibiotics, and yeah, that they managed to kick it, but he got lucky. But I don't know. Glenn Fry might have gone in for surgery and picked up something, picked up the pneumonia. People get pneumonia in the hospital. Uh, you know, like I tell people, look, detoxification is work. There's no question about it. Getting on a high fruit diet, changing your lifestyle, having to be the odd man out in families and groups and all that kind of stuff. It's not easy, and turning this thing around is not that easy. The benefits are fantastic. You feel great and all this stuff once you really get the thing going. But it's not easy, but it's a lot easier than having surgeries. It's a lot easier than going to doctors all the time and waiting in those waiting rooms and having people sneeze and cough all over you. It's just it's an easier route. It's a more natural route. So that's you know that's what I say. Let's try to do this. Try to do this before we need all these things, and before the surgeries and before the huge steroids and huge antibiotics and all those kinds of things. And and God forbid the diabetes where they're actually taking limbs away, and and the breast cancers where they're taking body parts and all these things. I had a friend who at 58 chose to have his prostate removed, and that's a heck of a thing, man. That's really hard. So yeah, thanks, Mark. I'll talk to him about it. He's pretty into the standard medical system with the VA hospital, but I'll see what I can do to talk him into it. Yeah, it's like I say, it's difficult. I mean, look at the shows on television. Look at the doctor shows. They're always the smart man that can figure it out how to do this. They're always the hero. Ben Casey to Hugh Laurie. On House. So we've been indoctrinated into their system, and it's just, I think a lot of it is how do you get yourself to believe again in the power of nature? This is really, and this is really truth on so many levels. To believe in the simplicity of the healing power of nature, of the foods, of the natural foods, the natural uncooked foods, the foods we're supposed to eat, the fruits and the soft leafy greens. These are what we're supposed to be eating. And to say that that is the answer to these, these ailments, that have these horrible names and horrible connotations, to say that it's really that simple, that with some herbs and a raw food, high fruit diet, that you're going to reverse these things. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe unless you've experienced, unless you've seen people go through the healing process and do it. I mean, it requires some faith. It really does. And but once that faith is realized, it opens you up on so many levels, to put more faith back into, into the natural world. At least it has for me. And and the simplicity, not over intellectualizing everything, not complicating everything, keeping it simple. Dr. Morse says this over and over again. This is one of the reasons why I was really keyed into him, is because he talked about intellectualism complicating everything, and leave the complexity to Mother Nature. I mean, there, I'll tell you right now, if you don't think you're doing anything, you are running, or someone's running, not you really, but there's 100 trillion cells. And I just heard a talk by a guy. I'm going to post it on my website, actually. And he was talking, he's some kind of a scientist, and he was talking about the complexity that's inside a single cell. He says, you've got a basic factory in there. Every single cell is way more complex, has more moving parts than a lot of factories. You've got workers in there. You've got tiny little robotic machines in there. You've got a manager. You've got a brain system. I mean, he just talked about all the moving parts, all the parts inside a single cell, and the complexity that is running automatically in us, is just phenomenal. So, but us as the people, we can approach this very simply, and trust in nature that the things that are put here, the intelligence of nature has put the proper things here for us to eat, and that's not the stuff that's been processed by man and has labels on it and all that. It really is the stuff that is on the trees and on the bushes and the vines and all that. So yeah, so sorry for the long-winded thing there, but that's been my experience, and that's my truth there. So yeah, I hope your dad really understands this, and yeah, I don't know about the VA hospital. I don't hear very good things about them. They're too overtaxed, underfunded to really help people in a lot of ways, but anyway, so enough of that. Having trouble getting good fresh berries these days. Is there much of a drop in nutrition and energetics with the frozen berries? That's a great question, and I've looked into that, and the people I trust, including Dr. Morse, says no. He says they say that the frozen berries still retain a lot of their power. They're not as good as the fresh, of course, but given the choice of the non-organic and fresh, or the unripe, a lot of times they pick this fruit so unripe, or the stuff that's starting to go. A lot of times you go on the market and the stuff, especially the grapes, are starting to mold and all that. So or the berries are getting real soft and mushy, starting to ferment. I would say that the frozen is the second best choice after fresh, ripe, organic. I thrive on them. Right now I'm doing a lot of frozen. Trader Joe's has bags of organic. They have a mixed berry bag with raspberries and strawberries and blackberries and blueberries, and it's about, I think it's $3 for 12 ounces, which is a great deal, and they're organic, and so I'm doing a lot of those, And like I've mentioned before, they have a wild crafted, no pesticide boreal blueberries that are frozen. I think it's a full pound. I think that's about $3.50, $4, which is great also. So yeah, so I don't know if they have Trader Joe's out where you are, Steve, but yeah, they've been a godsend. Trader Joe's is so wonderful. They keep the pricing down. They have the quality, and they use their own brand name, so they don't have to pay for someone else's branding, and they're able to keep a high quality and a low price. Um, I've seen organic berries over at the Vons here for 3 times the price. So yeah, it's fantastic. So yeah, good luck. Hopefully you have a Trader Joe's out there, or you can get yourself some high quality frozen organic berries. Um, Jeb Jeep is back. Hi, Jeb. Eating only oranges, taking tons of Dr. Morse herbs and GI Broom, Javana tea, sauna for a half hour a day. Yes, sir. And some 24-hour water fast, getting very skinny and still no kidney filtrations. Any suggestions? Yeah, see what I mean, man? Yeah, sometimes it can be real difficult. Um, how long have you been doing this? That's a big question there. Um, you know, are you checking often? Check often. Sometimes the filtration is intermittent, so always have a jar by in the bathroom. You can hide it, whatever, but check often. Sometimes I know that I get some big releases in the morning, and certainly dry fasting all through the night. Eating a half a cup of raisins for some reason, and then dry fasting through the night, and then checking in the morning, or having the Javana tea or the Heal All tea with the raisins, and then 12 hours of nothing, no water, nothing, and then check it in the morning. But yeah, check it often. You might find some filtration. The thing about a sauna too is a sauna is actually relieving the kidneys of its filtration. Um, so the sauna is actually, pulling toxins away from the kidneys. Um, but yeah, no, keep doing the sauna for sure. But I would say that, like I said earlier, that you can go up. You can start going to the glandulars, an adrenal glandular, kidney glandular, to punch that up. You can check your pituitary gland. Look in the eyes and see if your pituitary gland's online. Sometimes that's shut down, so then your adrenals are shut down, so then you can't open the kidneys up. You have too much inflammation, not enough anti-inflammatory steroids, so the kidneys are backed up. Um, and of course the top thing would be to go on a couple of day fast, to really kick it in. But I think your next stop is yeah, check throughout the day on filtration. You might be getting some, and then also going to the glandulars, the adrenal 400s, a couple of them 2-3 times a day. Might just get you some action there with the kidney glandular as well. Make sure the pituitary is going. Okay. How long does it take to detoxify your body eating raw foods? Oscar Garcia, that is the golden question. that is the big question. Um, and I've addressed this before. Detoxification is, number one, it's an art form. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different level of toxicity. Everybody has a different level of the ability to filter lymph waste, like we're talking about. And also, the lymph, um, you know, the lymph is all throughout the body, right? And really it backs up and gets stagnant and turns acidic and then thickens like a gravy. And it can even harden even harder than that. So it can become very sticky in certain areas. I've always mentioned my left knee. I'm still working on that, and I get flare-ups every once in a while. I know there's some toxic lymph still in there, some acidosis that I'm still trying to get out. I do have some issues in my feet still. But so yeah, I think that when you start to really detoxify, when you're doing the herbs and the high fruit, you're going to get about 50% of the toxins out of the lymph in the first few weeks. You're going to do the massive unloading is going to be in the first, let's say month or two. Okay. after that, you're just getting to deeper and deeper levels. And I've said this before, I don't think that you're ever 100% detoxified. I think it's a lifelong thing where we're always ABD, always be detoxing. Always think about eating alkaline foods and keeping that keeping the alkaline alkalinity of the lymphatic fluids. So yeah, I don't think that you are ever fully detoxified, but you're gonna do a lot of great work in the beginning. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Just yeah, dig in and you're gonna actually know when whatever issues you have, they're gonna start to disappear. So you're gonna know when you're at the levels that you want to be at as far as detoxification. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, it's an art form. It's kind of navigating the territory, and sometimes areas that are farthest from the kidneys, like I mentioned, are going to take some time to detoxify. Up in the brain area and down in the feet area and the legs can be the most sticky. And a lot of times we're going to help that with some physical action, learning how to move lymph physically as well as through the herbs and the diet. So, Oscar, that's a great question. I hope someone asks this question every time because it's worth repeating. It is an art, and it is different for everybody. And to always think about constant detoxification. It can't hurt. We live in a very toxic world, and none of us are perfect. We all, we all eat things from time to time that we shouldn't. We're all exposed to some chemicals. I mean, how many times you've been driving, you get behind a bus and you can't get out, and you feel it come through the vents of the car, or you drive by the local sewer plant or whatever. We're just being bombarded by toxins. So it's best to always be detoxifying. Do the best you can. Okay. All right, Jeb Jeep. Only fruit, berries, and melons for 9 months. Yes, sir. Checking for kidney filtration all the time. So here's a guy 9 months and still not getting filtration. Yeah, tough stuff. Have you checked your pituitary gland? Have you checked your blood pressures? Chime back. Let me know if you got those. And you know, and what issues? I forget. You might have told us already. Let me know how your skin is. Let me know you got any like systemic issues. The fibromyalgia or whatever. Let me know what's going on with you, Jeb. Oscar, I'm trying to eat raw food, but I'm having trouble with cravings. Do you have any suggestions? I answered that same question at the beginning. You can re-listen to this broadcast. You probably came in late, but yeah, basically in a nutshell, just you're gonna have cravings when you're hungry. So eat a lot of good food always. Have a lot of fruit always handy. Fill yourself up with the fruits and the soft leafy greens, and make sure you're always have some around so you can eat it. And chances are you're not gonna have these cravings as much. And deworm yourself and get the parasites out of the body, because these little critters crave things too. They crave starches and the fermented foods, and the worms crave the meats. Okay, but re-listen to the front. I kind of went into detail on that. Okay, Roth received. Thanks, Mark, for your time. Have a great week, my friend. You bet. Absolutely. Yeah, I think I'm going over here. Okay. Here's LD Hamilton. Oh, LaDonna. Hi, LaDonna. How are you? Is it possible to reverse kidney disease through detoxification? Yes. It depends on the severity of it. But, every cell in the body will regenerate, but you've got to detoxify it first. You've got to get the acidosis out of that area. Nothing can heal in an acidic medium. You've got to alkalize it down to the cellular level. And then the tissues will regenerate. Every single cell in the body will regenerate. But, a lot of times we get ourselves into such a position that it takes great strength to overcome these. So hopefully whoever you're talking about with the kidney disease it's not so far down the line that the healing powers of the body can't come back in to that area. That would take a very severe case, though. But yeah, kidney filtration, super, super important. So, getting the inflammation out of those kidneys, getting the acidosis out of those kidneys. They get destroyed. They really do. Um, Jeb Jeep, I don't know how to check the pituitary gland. Skin is fine. Yes, I do have fibromyalgia, stiff all over back and shoulders. Yeah, so that's what I was suspecting, because when you're not getting kidney filtration, the acids back up all through you and cause these systemic acidosis, like Glenn Frey's rheumatoid arthritis, and like your fibromyalgia, like my fibromyalgia. Yeah, yeah, Jeb, man, you got to keep working on don't give up, man. Get the kidneys filtering. It sounds like you're a tough guy. Get on the glandulars, give that around. If that doesn't work, go into longer fasting. I'm not an expert in fasting, but Lauren Lockman is. Might look at some of his videos, give him a call. Get into try. I know you did a 24-hour, I think you said, but get into some longer fasting. Fasting seems to be the ultimate thing if you can't get kidney filtration. Okay. DMH says, thanks for your help. Yeah, you bet. My pleasure. Oscar, you bet. And thanks again, Mark. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, I'm an hour and 5 now. Thank you, everybody, for watching this, and I hope I've helped you with your questions. And thank you very much for bringing the questions here. We're getting about 500 people a week watching these, and it keeps adding up as we go. People are going back and watching the earlier episodes, so the count's going up. So we're doing well here, and we got a great lively discussion and great questions tonight. And God bless you all, and stay with the natural uncooked foods, and keep the journey going. Keep learning. Watch my videos. Watch Dr. Morse's videos. And learn iridology, you guys. These cell phones now are so fantastic for taking eye pictures. You can have a friend help you, just shine a light to the side of the eye and get real close to that camera, and you can get eye pictures, and you can read eyes, and with a little bit of training, and you can help yourself and help your friends and family. And this is not difficult to learn. It really isn't. And so I hope you spread the word. I hope you use this information for your own health and to help others. And we're going to see you next week. And thank you all for coming. Thank you very much.